In this video, we will see in detail about auto plan settings of Unbound component. To plan a single rectangular Unbound component, go to Component Editor and click on Auto Plan button. In Machines tab, all the printing presses are listed for selection. Select the presses you want to consider for planning. If a press cannot print the selected paper grade, it will not be available for selection. In other processes, select Guillotine Cutting Machine. It is mandatory to select the finishing process as per job type. As we are planning a rectangular Unbound job, it needs guillotine cutting as mandatory process for finishing. If a correct process as per component type is not selected, planning will fail. For example, if die making and die cutting processes are selected instead of guillotine cutting machine, planning fails. In Sheets and Rolls tab, you can let the software to consider all the mill sheets and rolls defined in the material configuration by selecting first option, consider sizes defined in the configuration. For planning the job on predefined sheet or roll sizes, you can select next option, consider following sizes, and enter the sizes in the field below. Sheet sizes can be entered by typing height space width. By default, the grain is considered parallel to width for these sheets. For vertical grain sheets, just type V after width. If you are using live inventory information with material CSV import, can also make use of discard layouts on inefficient stock to not plan job on sheets or rolls having a smaller number of sheets or roll length required for completing the job run. Under Overrides, the first option, Do Not Consider Derived Sheets, controls the planning on full sheet size or smaller equal derivatives cut from big sheet. Second option, Do Not Consider Custom Sheets, if selected will not suggest custom sheet size calculation. Software will plan the job only on available sizes. Third option, Ignore Paper, mill brand, if selected will not consider mill name even if it is defined for material to be used in component properties. Under Margins, there are three options available. First option, Ensure No Print Margins, is to consider or discard press no print margins by selecting or deselecting the option, respectively. Second option, Ensure Marks Margin, is to consider or discard margins for marks by selecting or deselecting the option, respectively. Third option, Gripper Margin, can be used to override the default paper gripper margin defined in press configuration. Under Grain, there are three options. First option, Ensure Grain Perpendicular to Feeding Direction, if selected will plan the job only on long grain sheets, having grain parallel to the width of the sheet. Second option, Ensure Grain Parallel to Feeding Direction, if selected, will plan the jobs only on short grain sheets, grain parallel to the height of the sheet. Third option, Don't Care, if selected will consider both long and short grain sheets for planning. In Algorithms tab, rectangular and uniform grid nesting algorithms are available for planning of rectangular jobs. If rectangular nesting is selected, software will place the job on the layout as per grain direction defined for component. If either grain direction is selected in component properties, software can place sum ups in different orientation for maximizing sheet, reel usage, called as Dutch imposition. To place the job is symmetrical rows and columns on the layout, use uniform grid nesting. You can define number of rows and columns or leave blank, and software will calculate the required rows and columns as per job trim size, sheet or reel size, press and guillotine cutting machine size. This option is preferred for planning standard size jobs such as business cards, postcards, etc. that need symmetrical placement for better control in finishing and sorting. Irregular nesting and bridge gap are meant only for die-cut jobs planning. In Options tab, the first setting, Add Marks, if selected will apply crop and fold marks to the components. Other marks as per assigned marks template are also added to the layout. Standards can be saved by editing layouts as per requirements. These standards apply only if Apply Standards is selected. Allow trimming of sheets and reels to fit the press if selected, will allow software to trim big sheets or reels to be cut into size to fit the printing press maximum size, only if the wastage is under 25%. Allow step and repeat of small die work only for die cut jobs. Additional blank space on layout can also be trimmed by selecting Set Sheet Trim to remove additional white space when it is more than defined amount. Horizontal alignment of print area on the layout can be set to left, right or center. Default is centered alignment. Under Allowable Work Styles, user can select the printing work styles to be considered for the job. Only selected work styles will be considered after validating if the selected press supports the work style or not. If not, planning will fail. For example, if the printing press is not perfecting, and here only Perfector convertible work style is selected, planning will fail. Under Constraints, the first option, Disallow multipass printing for inks, if selected will not allow to plan job having more colors than number of printing units defined for a press. For multipass printing, deselect this option. Same control is available for coatings by selecting or deselecting Disallow multipass printing for coatings to check for coatings unit defined in the press with job parameters. For offline coatings, deselect this option. If Ignore guillotine cutting cost option is not selected, software will also optimize guillotine cutting process by considering machine hour rate and make ready time as defined in the configuration. This may result in less sheet usage to keep cutting process economical. If the end goal is material and printing process optimization, select this option. Once selected, software ensures maximum material usage and less press runs. Stack jobs only vertically works for ganged layouts to place jobs in simplified vertical columns. The sub-options of this setting are only single job per column and continuous reel. Only single job per column only works for ganged layouts. Continuous reel option is for planning jobs with uniform gap in between each up when printing on reels, specially used for planning of labels, delivered in reel form. Once these settings are set, you can either save these as defaults or save by name. When saved by name, the save setting will be available under Planning Presets drop-down menu. Click OK. IMP provides efficient layout. For more information, contact us at support@insoftautomation.com.